Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I guess it's finally time for me to become a FNAF theorist. I've been on the fringes of this fandom since the first game came out in 2014, and while I haven't actually played most of the games, I have watched several playthroughs of all of them, kept up with all the books and the theories, and have been quietly speculating alongside everyone else on the sidelines. But with this newest release, I figured I should try and throw my hat in the ring. And boy howdy do I have a weird first theory. To date this recording, the Into the Pit game came out exactly 2 weeks ago. And it instantly grabbed my attention, both because of how good it is and how weird it is. Especially when compared to the book it's based off of. It wasn't until after I had watched Gibby's Horror Homestead's analysis of the book. If you take the FNAF elements out of the story can be interpreted as a child with a parent that no one else can see is abusive. And I saw Chloe's Imagination's Instagram story a couple days ago about headcanoning that Pit Bonnie treats Oswald like William treats Michael, and I realized, what if both of them are correct with two pieces of the same story? What if Oswald is Michael Afton? Let's start by looking at what we know about Michael Afton's life. Michael is the oldest son of William Afton, confirmed in sister location, and is the brother to Elizabeth Afton. We learned this in Pizzeria Sim, and the crying child from FNAF 4. He's often left alone with his younger brother and would torment him constantly from FNAF 4. He is a fan of Foxy and wore a Foxy mask around FNAF 4. He goes to Freddy's regularly, FNAF 4, because he likes it and because his dad is one of the owners. At his brother's birthday party, Michael and 3 of his friends tried to play a prank on the crying child, which resulted in him getting his head bitten down on by Fredbear from FNAF 4. He feels immense guilt over this, apologizing to his brother at his hospital bed, FNAF 4. William was abusive towards him, speculated in Midnight Motors, strengthened by the Midnight Motor car belonging to William in the Falaf demo. His mum was distant from him, basically not there for him. One interpretation of the Grey character in Midnight Motorist. He would often break out of the house to visit some mysterious location, speculated for Midnight Motorist, strengthened by the Midnight Motor car. At one point he encounters Nightmare, speculated from FNAF 4 and confirmed in the security logbook, and therefore likely went through the fear gas experiment from Didophobia. At some point, he's sent down to William's bunker by William to fix Elizabeth, his sister location. He gets scooped and inhabited by Enid, and then possesses his own body when they leave it in sister location. I should clarify that Elizabeth wasn't lying when she said he wouldn't die. She's saying that Michael as a entity wouldn't die when they left his body. Michael as a spirit is still somehow controlling a rotting inside-less suit of meat, which means he had to possess an object, and a corpse is an object, but Michael is still alive. At some point he learns about William being the Spring Bonnie killer and having killed at least 6 kids. At some point he becomes a Freddy's night security guard, speculated FNAF 1, speculated FNAF 2, speculated FNAF 3, which is later confirmed by the security logbook, confirmed in sister location, and speculated in Pizzeria Sim. While working as a night security guard, he constantly hallucinates Freddy's characters attacking him, and he is implied to have remained in the Pizzeria Sim fire and died. Pizzeria Sim, obviously. That isn't 100% confirmed, since no one else seems to actually have died in that fire. Now let's look at what happens to Oswald during the Into the Pit game. Oswald is the only son of Mr. and Mrs. whatever their last name is. He is often left alone by his parents at Jeff's. He has a weird connection with Freddy's animatronics, with a notable lack of Foxy. He goes to Jeff's regularly and has somewhat of a relationship with the owner. He ends up at a birthday party at Freddy's where he witnesses Pit Bonnie committing the MCI, but with 6 kids instead of 5, and his dad gets taken by Pit Bonnie due to it following Oswald through the pit. He feels responsible and makes it his mission to go save him. Over the course of the game, he makes 3 friends, which actually match the gender of the 4 original animatronics. Pit Bonnie pretends to be his dad and is very controlling of what he can do, dragging him by the arm places, stopping him from leaving the house other than to go to school. His mum isn't there because she doesn't believe him about the dad being replaced and is physically distant due to working long hours at the hospital. He needs to break out of the house multiple times in order to go back to Jeff's. He is constantly hunted down in his own house at night by something that terrifies him, has to go through and save all the kids from the MCI. While at school, he constantly hallucinates Freddy's characters attacking him, and his ending is left ambiguous due to the multiple endings the game has. You've got everyone living at the 3-star ending, everyone but Jeff living with the 2-star ending. The dad is saved, but Oswald is taken in the 1-star ending. Oswald is turned into Foxy ? In the 0-star ending. Just because there is a lot of overlap between the stories of Michael and Oswald doesn't necessarily mean that they're the same person. I have obviously cherry-picked the ones that are most suitable for this theory, but luckily there are also several other things that can be used as evidence. There's the fact that the majority of the past lore has been given to us in the form of 8-bit minigames, starting from FNAF 2, and in all subsequent games revolving around the Aftons. And yes, this game is 16-bit, but it still falls under the pixelated game aesthetic that the others have. There's the fact that these games have twice now been shown to be utilized to affect a person after they have died, UCN and Happiest Day. Thrice if you count the FNAF world is CC's Moving On. There's the fact that there are 3 periods of Michael's life where he could realistically be having issues with his memory, where he could see himself in a loving family until all the Freddy stuff starts to bleed back through. There's recovering from the nightmare experiments and not trusting what is real in his technically being dead while Enid is controlling his body, and since he doesn't know where his body is, he doesn't have all his memories, and after the FNAF 6 fire. There's the fact that Scott likes to use future games to answer questions and address issues from past games, and one of the biggest ones since Pizzeria Sim is what happened to Michael. Every other character that was in the FNAF 6 location shows up in other games. Even Henry, if you include the Henry is Old Man Consequences theory. Yet the character we've played as for at least 3 games is nowhere to be seen. There's the fact that in the same book that explains what really happened during FNAF 4, there's a story that outlines that when someone is a ghost, they don't really know it until they find their body, yet elements of their life and death can flash up at random moments, which explains Oswald's weird ability to draw Freddy's characters without knowing anything about Freddy's. And there's also the other stories that show, hey, the souls don't really remember anything. There's the fact that by the time Michael would first have had his memory issues, the crying child and Elizabeth would have already have died, which is why the family is just the mum, the dad, and the one son. And there's the fact that a part of the Stingray stingers is it culminating in the Stingray using this same ball pit to go into the memories of the dead to take the agony that is their worst memory of their death and change it into a happier one in order for them to move on. What I'm proposing is someone is attempting to use this game in order to help Michael Afton move on. Picture this. Michael Afton's body dies in the FNAF 6 fire like he was supposed to. For some reason, his soul lingers on. whether it's because of what Cassidy is doing to the others, whether it's a lasting effect from being a human injected with Remnant, or William was just wrong about intense heat completely nullifying the soul energy. He doesn't know. In fact, he doesn't know much of anything. While the fire didn't destroy everyone's remnant, it did leave them dormant enough for it to destroy the vessels that they were attached to. For all the others, that's fine. They'd found their bodies years ago. But for Michael, who technically never found his body the first time he died, that means there's no body for him to find and to become whole again. Luckily for him, there's a certain girl who once saw him as an older brother figure. Their dads were best friends and colleagues after all, who has experience with helping lost souls. While she couldn't help him find something to possess now that her puppet body was gone, she could still help him move on. She made him a game in order to help him travel through the other side, just like she'd done for his brother. Charlie had needed to placate Cassidy so that she and Michael wouldn't be trapped eternally in UCN, which meant getting Cece to move on so that the Vengeful Spirit would have full control over Golden Freddy and enough power to trap all of the other souls within their game. Hey guys, Editing Dylan here, and I should probably clarify, yes, I know the puppet is in UCN. I'm just saying that since she's only in 7 out of the 16 presets, which are basically the story mode of the game, the rest of the time she could be helping Michael. But what Charlie didn't know is that the Vengeful Spirit, she was going to let Michael go anyway. Henry, no. If it wasn't for him, William would have never been able to make the animatronics in the first place. And he sat back and did nothing for years while the animatronics were possessed. He may also be a lost soul at the moment, but he remembers enough about his life to serve his penance. But Michael? They knew he didn't mean to cause Cece's death. It was just a dumb prank gone wrong, and Cece had forgiven him years ago. They'd watched him throughout his life and saw how William had used and abused him, resulting in his own temporary death. They saw that as soon as Michael knew what William had done, he immediately went to try and fix it. They saw how he tried to help the kids trapped inside the animatronics, and when that didn't work, he tried to set them free. But just because Cassidy was planning on letting him go anyway, doesn't mean she was going to turn down Charlie's offer to make her more powerful, especially if it meant helping Cece finally move on too. Charlie made a game for Michael. She wanted it to be one without the pain of his younger sibling's death, so she made him an only child. Without the pain of the Afton last name, so she just didn't give the family one. Without the pain of his parents, so she made them loving and united. She couldn't get rid of all his memories. Like Henry, he was too old to not remember his life. Plus, she needed Michael to be able to confront that. She added in a link between Oswald's world and the Freddys of the past, and give him a strange pull towards it. If Michael once saw his dad as loving, until everything with Cece and the murders happened, make it so that Oswald's loving dad gets possessed by a murderous yellow rabbit. If Michael is torn up about how Cece's death broke apart his parents and made his dad hate his uncle figure, make him to collect loving mementos of his family's life and stop the yellow rabbit with a picture of William and Henry. If Michael blames himself for sending his dad down that murderous path because of what happened with Cece, make it so that Oswald can save all of the kids in his version of the MCI and free his dad from this yellow rabbit persona. And, well, that's basically it. What I believe to be the true meaning behind the new Into the Pit game. It is an in-universe post-death game meant to help Michael overcome his trauma that started all the way back when he accidentally caused his younger brother's death, turning all of the bad memories from his life and blame he puts on himself for every single death that followed into a world where he can save everyone in the end. Are there still things that don't really add up with my theory? Yes. In my eyes, it's mainly bringing the whole FNAF world is there to help the crying child move on theory into this. This does work without it. You can literally just take that segment out and nothing changes. It was originally just there for flavor text, but I figured, it works tied in, so why not leave it? And the hidden mini games referencing To Be Beautiful, Count the Ways, and Fetch. But for now, I'll just pass these off as just that. References to the other two stories from the Into the Pit book and to the story that Scott has said he wants to see next made into a game. There's also the issue of the Stingwraith and Eleanor showing up in the background. Could be Michael's mind trying to bring his siblings into this. That on night 4 there's the mini arenas and Balloon Boy. That could be Michael's memories of FNAF 2 and sister location respectively. There's the image of William and Henry from the Silver Eyes, and the fact that Oswald's Zendrilla poster can change into the Twisted Ones cover, but this could be Michael's memory of the Emily family. Trash and the gang being outside the mill. I don't know, apparently they were found in a dumpster in FNAF 6, so it could be related to his final moments. All of these could all just be references to the fact that this is a 10-year anniversary game, so it's going to pay attention to everything that came in the 10 years prior. However, if you guys are able to find any holes in my actual theory, then that's great. The majority of theories in this fandom can have major holes or leaps in logics found if you look too closely at them. I'm just laying the groundwork for you guys to tell me in the comments in which ways you think these holes can be patched, or you think other evidence ruins this theory. That's a good step for the community. But for now, this is just theory crafting to create discussion. But with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.